Good morning, class. How are you? I hope you are doing good out there. So again, welcome to our class. And for you to be able to prepare and get excited to our new topic to be discussed for today, let's have first a quick motivational game which is entitled 4 Picks, 1 Word. So the only thing you need to do is you need to guess what is the 4 pictures is going to convey. Are you ready? Of course, I know you do. Okay, class, for the first picture, what is this? Okay, that is baking. Okay, class, for the second picture, guess what is this? Very good. The answer is tool. Okay, for the next picture, class, guess what it is? Okay, very good. The answer is equipment. Okay, so thank you so much for your participation, class. And I think that will be all for our motivational game. So at this point, let us now proceed to our normal discussion. Hello, good day, grade 11 Braid and Pacey students. How are you? I hope you are doing well. I hope you are doing fine. And also, I hope that you are being motivated for our motivational activity. 4 picks, 1 word. And of course, it is very obvious that our topic is all about the basic tools and equipment. Okay, so in this topic, we are going to dig deeper and explore the world of basic tools and equipment in baking or in the baking process. Okay, so without much ado, let's start that. So let's proceed to our learning objectives. So by the end of the class discussion, 99% of the class or of the grade 11 Braid and Pacey students will be able to define tools and equipment, identify the various tools and equipment used in baking, and value the importance of knowing the functions of tools and equipment in baking process. Okay, so I hope, class, that you will listen, and after the class discussion, I will assure, or we will assure that we attain these learning outcomes or learning objectives. Okay, so let's just bear in mind because I will give you an assessment activity afterwards. Okay, so for our introduction, so a well-equipped cooking environment is the cook's best friend. So either it be the home or restaurant, no? When you have the right kitchen tools, you feel at ease and stay focused on preparing the meal, no? Of course. So that if you have the appropriate kitchen tools, so your work of your kitchen will be more easier and faster, no hassle, because you are fully equipped in terms of these tools and equipment being used in preparing your meal. In baking, tools and equipment plays a vital role, not to attain and get persons or bakers assumed result of any baked products. So nonetheless, tools and equipment is really helpful for us in every task, not just in baking, but to all work-related tasks to make our work more easier and faster. So in this discussion, we will focus on identifying the basic tools and equipment in baking. So knowing its different functions and value the importance of each tools and equipment during or in the baking process. So what is a tool and equipment, class? Okay, so if you have any idea, you just comment here for my video, okay? So when we say tool, it is a device or implement, especially one held in the hand or used to carry out a particular function. Okay, to easily understand what is a tool. A tool can be operate or manipulate using only our hands. Okay, so the tool is only can use uh, in our bare hands without using electricity. In contrary, when we say equipment, it is the necessary items for a particular purpose. Okay, so to easily understand what is equipment, it is mostly used on a electricity. Okay, that particularly perform a specific purpose. Okay, so for our topic, that is all about baking. So what is baking? So when we say baking, it is the action of cooking food by dry heat without direct exposure to a flame, typically in an oven. Okay? Excuse me ha. Medyo I have coughed, but it's okay. So when we say baking, it is very obvious, no? It is mostly used in equipment which is an oven. No, it is particularly more on baking breads, cooking pastries, baking cookies, and etc. and many more. Okay. So here are the various tools and equipment in baking. So in baking, the tools and equipment is being classified according to their uses. Okay? Sorry, natabunan siya. It is measuring tools. Okay? So this so again, the tools and equipment is being classified according to their uses. So starting off with the measuring tools. Okay? So this measuring tools is that one of the most important aspect of baking is having a right amount of each ingredients so that the food is baked correctly. No, using ingredients or using inaccurate measurement rather of ingredients like baking soda or flour can drastically alter the outcome of the baked products, no, or the baked goods, such as making a cake more dense or cookies that more flat or too flat. No, so the following baking accessories listed below will enhance your final product by allowing you to measure the correct amount of each baking ingredients correctly. Okay, so starting off is the measuring spoon. So its function is to measure small volumes. So when we say small volumes, mauni sila ang mga baking soda. An example of this is the baking soda, the baking powder, the salt, the cornstarch, and etc. No, it is the measuring spoon usually referred to measure small volumes. Next up is the measuring cups. So both dry and liquid measuring cups. No, so there are two types of measuring cup, which is the dry and the liquid measuring cups. So liquid measuring cup is obviously to measure liquid ingredients, while dry measuring cup, of course, it is used to measure dry and semi-liquid ingredients. Like for example, for the liquid ingredients is we have milk, water, and any liquid ingredients used in baking. And for the dry measuring cup, for the example of this is we have the butter, we have the flour, we have the sugar, we have the oil, and etc. Okay, so we have also here the weighing scale, of course, to weight ingredients, no, to measure ingredients. So magtimbangon. This very understandable na class. We have also thermometers From the word thermo, it means temperature. No, it is to measure heat. Okay? And we have also timers. Of course, the function of its timers is to measure time. Okay, so those are for the measuring tools and equipment. Measuring tools rather. Okay? So I have here an image of the measuring tools. Okay, for number 1, it is the combination of the measuring cup and measuring spoon. Particularly in the measuring cup, it is the dry measuring cup. For number 2, we have the weighing scale. Okay, so maunang porma sa weighing scale. For number 3, it is the thermometer. And number 4, it is the what? It is the liquid measuring cup. And lastly, for number 5, it is the timer. Okay, very good, class. Okay, let's proceed to the cutting tools. Okay, so cutting tools, when working with dough at times, no, it will need to be cut into smaller portions or shape, not to add visual interest. No, so the following baking utensils below will make the process of cutting or shaping dough for things, no, like cookies, breads, pies, that is much easier and faster. Okay, so we have here the cookie cutter. From the word cookie, it means that it molds that cuts cookie dough into a specific before baking. Okay, we have also the dough cutter. From the word dough, it is to slices dough into portions. And also we have grater. It is means to shred soft foods like butter or cheese into small pieces. No, it's mostly para na siya sa ano sa taas, like sprinkles or nga bitaw. Yes. And for the pastry blender, of course, it is works solid fats like butter, lard, or shortening into flour to make a dough. Okay. We have also the pastry cutting wheel. When we say pastry cutting wheel, it is to cut dough and creates pattern dough the edges. Okay, so those are the cutting tools. And of course, I have here an image of these cutting tools. Starting off with number 1, it is the pastry blender. Okay, number 1, that is the look of a pastry blender. For number 2, that is the cookie cutter. Okay, cookie cutter or cookie molder is the same. Okay, so naa na siya a different or various shapes that will decide kung unsay mo ang gusto nga shape or your desired shape, then you can choose whatever you want. Okay, for number 3 of us, that is a grater. I do believe that you are already familiar what is this type of tools because we can apply it in our home, no? Labi nagmagluto mong spaghetti or anything nga kailangan ninyo i-grate. Okay? For number 4, that is the pastry wheel. No? Or the cutting wheel. No? That is mostly used for cutting pizza or anything na makat. No? And the last one, for number 5, that is the dough cutter. So, mauna ang forma sa dough cutter. Okay? Okay, that's it. So next, we will proceed to the preparatory tools. So when we say preparatory tools, so it will make the baking process easier from start until to finish by preparing the tools and equipment you'll need to complete each step in the recipe or in your recipe. So the baking supplies listed below are helpful when it comes to preparing the necessary ingredients or protecting also the food. Starting off with the rolling pin. I know you are familiar with this one. So when we say a rolling pin, it is to flattens and rolls out the dough. Okay, katong anaon tuyok-tuyok mo na siya. We have also the fine mesh sieve. So it's to sift and separates crumbs of dry ingredients and also used to add a powdered sugar dusting. Okay, so that is the function of a fine mesh sieve. Next is we have the egg separator. From the word separator, it separates the yolk from the egg white. Okay, so this is the most appropriate tools, no, if you are going to separate the yolk and the egg white. Next is we have the pastry brush, used to spread egg wash, butter, or oil on dough before baking. So when we say egg wash, so mauni ang mura og final nimo nga ibutang nimo sa imo ang bread para naa siya shiny or crusty outside. Okay? So we have also the baking mat. Fits in a sheet pan to keep it clean while baking. So that is the function of baking pan. We have also the parchment paper. This parchment paper is to prevent food from sticking to the pan, and also it helps to easily invert and remove cake from the pan without breaking. So that is the function of a parchment paper. Next is we have the cooling rack. From the word cooling, it means to cool, no? A wire rack used to cool food taking out of the oven by allowing air to circulate around it. So that is the function of the cooling rack, is to cool the baked products. Next, we have the cake taster. So it tastes if the cake is fully cooked without leaving a large hole. So if the needle is inserted and comes out clean, it means the cake is done. Okay? So imo na to siyang itusok. If naa siya may apil or na siya nadagit, inigbuhot, kuha nimo, it means it is not still cooked. But if kuha nimo, if wala mapilit, that means the symbol that the cake product is being cooked. Next is we have the oven mitts. When we say oven mitts, the function of it is to protect hands when taking hot pans out of the oven. No? Kanyang mura o gloves. Okay. Okay, I have here the picture. Okay? So these are the picture of the what? The preparatory tools. Starting off with number 1, that is the what? That is the oven mitts. No, it is something like gloves. No, it is protect, from the word protect hands when taking hot pans. So mauni imo ang suoton, it should be wear when you are going to take out the baked products outside from the oven. No, inside from the oven rather. Kay na mapasok jud mo, di mo mosulod ana. Number 2, that is the cooling rack. Okay? Number 3, that is the baking mat. Okay? The number 4, that is a egg separator. Number 3 is, that is the pastry brush. The number 5 is the egg separator, and number 4, that is the baking mat. Number 6 is the cake taster, and number 7 is the parchment paper. So these are the physical appearance, or these are the mga itsura nila, no? When I say preparatory tools. Okay. So number 8, of course, this is the rolling pin. And number 9, balik siya number 9, but ang walaan na is ang fine mesh sieve. Okay, you can search it into the website if you are very curious about what is this kind of tools. Okay, so next up is we have here the mixing tools. So once all ingredients have been measured out, they will need to be mixed to create the batter or dough. So the mixing tools below will help you to make combining ingredients much easier. Okay, starting off with the mixing spoon. It stirs and combines baking ingredients. Next is we have the mixing bowl, used to prepare and mix the ingredients in, as well as to store dough while it rises. Though this is the fermentation process. So when we say dough while it rises, it means fermentation. We have also whisk. It is to blend ingredients smoothly. Okay, we have also the rubber silicone. The rubber or silicone spatula. It is to scrape the sides of bowls when mixing or getting the last of the butter out. It can be used to gently fold together in ingredients. Okay? So number one, that is the rubber or the silicone spatula. So mauna yang nawong class. For number two, that is a whisk, specifically a wire whisk. Number three is obviously that is a mixing bowl. And lastly, number four, that is a wooden ladle or a mixing spoon. Okay. Next is we have the baking pans. So baking pans, these are a variety of different baking pan, no? It serves and shape to use in the baking process. So each of the pans was designed for certain types of food, and each type of pan give its context with the signature shapes. Okay, so baking pans, kung unsa imo ang ganahan nga i-bake, so it is very appropriate to use this specific pans. Okay, we have here the pie plate. Okay, when we say a pie plate, it is a round glass baking pan used primarily to bake foods with a pie or a cookie crust. We have the sheet pan, so a metal that shallow baking pan used to bake flat foods like cookies or pizzas. We have also a round pan. Of course, a round pan. It is a metal baking pan commonly used to bake layers of cake. Okay? Muffin pan. So it is a metal pan with 12 or 24 wheels, primarily used to bake cupcakes or muffins. Okay? We have also the rectangular baking pan. So a deeper cake baking pan used to bake stuff like cornbread, cakes, and brownies. So mauni mo ang gamiton if you are going to bake cornbread, cakes, and brownies. We have also the spring form pan. A pan with removable sides to allow the baked good to be removed without inverting or lifting. This is commonly used for cheesecake and most cakes. Okay? Okay, so I have here an image of that pans, no? So maon nilang mga itsura class. That number one, of course, that is a round pan. Number two, that is a spring form pan. Number three is a pie plate. Number four, that is a muffin pan. Number five, that is a baking sheets. No, baking sheet na siya or sheet pan. And lastly, number five, that is the rectangular pan. No, so it is very understandable na class. No, we can easily identify these types of pan just simply looking at it or by simply just seeing at it. Okay? So mo yung mga itsura class. So we have also the cake decorating tool. So decorating a cake without using specialized cake decorating tools can be different, and the result often doesn't look as it could. No? So medyo di siya engaging and visual appealing class. If you are not going to use the appropriate cake decorating tool. So using the cake decorating supplies listed below will elaborate or elevate your cakes or cupcakes, giving them more visually appealing, more engaging to look, and more professional look. Starting off with the cake turntable stand. Okay, when we say cake turntable stand, it is to rotate an underdecorated cake for ease of applying and spreading frosting. We have also the piping bag. So a cone-shaped plastic bag used to consistently squeeze frosting out through a tip, commonly used to decorate cakes and cupcakes. We have also the decorating tip. It is used with a piping bag to guide the frosting and comes in various shape openings to create different patterns with the frosting. We have also the cake spatula, a long, narrow spatula used to smooth frosting on the top and side of the cake. We have also the cake leveler, cuts and levels cake layers to keep them stable when stacking. We have also the cake board, a thick piece of decorated corrugated cardboard used to support and present the cake. Okay, so these are the ilang mga itsura class, ilang physical appearance. Number 1, that is a cake stand. Number 2, that is a cardboard. Cake board rather, dili cardboard ha. That is a cake board. Number 3, that is a cake leveler. Number 4, that is a cake spatula. Number 1, that is a piping tips or decorating tips. Number 6, that is a piping bag. No? So that's it. So maauto siya class. So I do believe that some of this is familiar with you, no? Because maybe you encounter some of this one. Okay. So that's all for the decorating tool. Okay, now let's proceed for the equipment. So these are the equipment, no? It is, I think, there's a lot of them, but this is the most commonly used, no, in the baking process that I've encountered. No, I experienced this is the most I've seen that is mostly useful in terms of the baking process. We have the blender. It is to puree or crush ingredients. Labi na tong mga mani, labi na tong mga kailangan bitaw i-blend. Yes, mao na siya imong gamiton para ma-crush jud siya, okay? We have also the oven, the most important equipment in baking process. The oven, no? It is to bake, heat, roast, and etc. No? Okay, so that is the function of oven. We have also the hand mixer and stand mixer. The function is to whipping cream or eggs, mixing cake batter and cookie dough, and making things like icing and salad dressing. So hand mixer, the main purpose of this is to whipping cream or make an icing. While the stand mixer, the main purpose of this or the main primary function of this is to make the bread dough or the cookie dough. Okay? Okay. So knowing the importance class of using basic tools and equipment in baking process will really help you to attain a desired products. So using the appropriate and knowing the function of it or of each tools and equipment will gain you to have a good smooth flow much easier and faster, and safety, of course, in your baking process. Nevertheless, tools and equipment in baking is such a big deal to accomplish perfect bake result or bake product result. No, so it is very vital, class, that you know the function and the basic tools and equipment used in baking process to attain a good perfection of your any baked products. Okay? And also dapat mo gamit sad ka, and also you need to use the appropriate sad tools na imo ang gamiton that you will use in your baking process. Okay? So, before this end, I will leave you a quote that saying, as long as you know how to bake life, no, as long as you know how to bake, life is sure to be sweet. Okay? Okay, so I think that will be all for our discussion for today. I hope you got something. I hope you learned something about my discussion. And I will provide an assessment afterwards. And you need to answer it. No, it is just very easy. It's all about the topic, of course. And class, next meeting, you are going to identify the basic tools and equipment. That will be our assessment, or that will be serve as our quiz. Okay, so thank you for listening, class. God bless you all, and please answer the assessment afterwards. Okay, thank you for listening, and God bless you all. Thank you.